So this is day 9 with Escher, and I'm working on starting to teach him more of the draw and working on getting him to kind of stick with me a little bit better. And so he has kind of like his favorite spot. You can see my other student's Mustang is right there. Megan's working her, and this is kind of the area where we feed them as well. So it tends to be where he wants to kind of always be. So I have to work on when he wants to go back there, I make it a little bit more uncomfortable, put a little bit more pressure on, and then ask him to come to me. And then I will give him a reward. And of course, I use the cluck sound to kind of bridge that gap. And of course, I had to walk back to his spot so I could get some more rewarding material. And you see he kind of wants to stick at his feed bucket, which is fine. Kind of use that as an opportunity to ask him to come with me. And you may wonder why I have my sleeve rolled up. I found when I'm working with the Mustangs with this shirt, the white lettering can get them to be a little bit more worried. So I found if I just rolled it up, he was much better. And I got a nice response there to move his shoulder away. He got a little worried when I went to rub him with the stick, but that was just a little bit of a whoops. And I asked him to come to me, and he thought he was going to be smart and try to go to the grain bucket because he wanted some more. So took it as an opportunity to move him away. And then sometimes I like to cue them up with using their name or a whistle to kind of generate the drawing to me. And so we're just doing a little positioning here. And then I'm going to ask. And then he will get the reward. So that was a good little moment to work on that. So I'm going to isolate the hind leg a little bit right there to move. And then go back to a rub. So I like to kind of go back and forth between the clicker with the positive reward, and then with the different kind of positive reward of the rubbing or scratching, and then also using the sound of my voice. So here, try to generate some forward movement because I know he likes to go here, but I didn't get the trot, but that was okay. So I had to have a conversation with my student who I'm also helping. So took the minute to get reloaded, and then took the opportunity here to see if I could get him to stick with me when we leave the area that he really likes to be in. So I'm going to ask him to follow, and that was good. He gave me 2 steps because this can be the hard spot for him. So I'm going to do a couple more click rewards there. And then that was pretty good because normally he likes to try to leave and to go back. And there's where I wanted to give the reward. With the click, of course. And I'm going to go back and reload. Again, I find it pretty good to work on this because he has to learn where the food is being dispensed. So there he tried to be a little self-sufficient. And I just use that as a good opportunity. Now he's starting to figure out what I'm asking and kind of sticking to me a little bit better. That was pretty good. What I really like is how he's starting to use a little bit of shape through his body. And then I always find it is really important to spend the time rubbing and grooming on him a little bit, getting some really nice licks and chews. And I felt like that was a super good session with him. I was really pleased with that. So now we are on day 11 with Escher, and I'm working more on building the same concepts with the Liberty work. This time I have the flag. This has been really fun for me to kind of play with and figure out. Each Mustang has kind of taught me more and more tools for my toolbox. And you see, you got a little worried there. That's okay. I'm going to go and give him a little rub. He's pretty good with all the stimuli that I have, the flag, the ribbon, but every now and then he gets a little worried. So that's just going through the process, teaching him that everything is okay. And yes, it's Florida. I'm wearing shorts. And clearly, I normally wear pants. So, again, working on getting him to follow. And then I'm playing around more with the flag, with it making sounds. And then also with where my intent is. And he's learning to follow. Here he kind of chose to walk away, so I'm going to increase the pressure and send him forward, and then ask if he will come back. And then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make the flag sounds again after I give him a good rub. And then he decided that it was better to stand there. And then gonna go and move the flag, making that sound. And he did a pretty good job with that, so give a good rub. He's starting to get pretty good about cuddling. And I really like to teach them to follow the sound. He's a pretty curious horse and confident, so I'm just trying to build on those things. And now I'm switching out from the flag to the ribbon. This is probably my favorite tool. And again, he kind of chose to go away from me there, so I'm going to tell him to move his feet some and then ask him to come. And then give him a rub. And now we're going to do the same thing that I did with the flag. Kind of follow it. But again, this is probably one of my favorite things. This was made by my friend TJ, who's another fellow Mustang person. And it's really great because it can give a lot of stimulus, but it's really soft to the touch. And for the Mustangs that are pretty sensitive, this can be a good way for them to see a lot of movement, but the feel is pretty nice for them. And it's not too much. Sometimes I feel like ropes can be a little too heavy for them. And so here I'm going to take the time. He's being pretty good. I'm going to give him a rub. And then I'm also kind of doing double duty while I'm keeping an eye, helping my working student with her Mustang, just making sure she doesn't need any help. And then I'm going to go back to working with the ribbon over his neck. And all of this prepares for the beginning steps of when I want to go put a saddle pad on or if you have to put a jacket on when you're on the horse. So there he kind of chose to leave. So we're going to move our feet. It doesn't need to be much, just to get him to move his feet a little bit and then ask him to come. And got a nice lick and chew. And we'll go back to the center of the ring. And then I'm going to give him a minute and just sit here and give him a good rub. And then do a couple of flicks and ask him to draw to me. That was really good. He's starting to get pretty good at that. And you're going to have some times where they want to go and to leave. So I just try to use those things to my advantage. And sometimes, especially the young horses, feel like they need to move around. So I'm going to use that and let them move around. And if we want to stand and hang out, we're going to stand and hang out. And here I'm just doing a little bit more of flicking the ribbon. So we're getting to where he's taking some nice breaths. And he took a nice deep breath there. So I'm going to reward that and release. And then go back to giving him a good rub. And you see his whole body just starts to relax. I really like to work on building the relaxation and softness. And I felt like that was really good with the ribbon stick. And so I'm going to go and grab the halter and just do a little finish up. These sessions are not very long. They're probably 15 minutes. And so here I'm asking him to come to me. He's having to think about it for a minute. But I was really pleased with that right there. And I'm going to go back and give him a nice little neck rub. And I like kind of taking my time and teaching them that when they see the halter, it just doesn't mean the halter is going to go on their face right away. And doing a lot of asking him to come to me. And he's getting pretty good about, he's been pretty easy about the halter. So that always makes the job a little easier. And then I'm just going to finish up kind of the end of the session with picking up our feet. And here I, for some reason, stepped over the rope and had it in between my legs. I would suggest to not do this. I like to flick the rope around me. And you need to choose if you want it kind of in front or around and not in between. But hindsight's always 20/20, and I always get to learn stuff when I watch the videos of myself. So here I do it correctly. I have the rope on the outside, and then I'm able to correct him if he wants to kind of use his nose in an improper manner. But then I like to do the stretching exercise. It's a good way to build trust with the front legs. And then working on the hinds, again, preparing for farrier work. And so when I can get under and trim him, and he did really good. So I'm going to reward him with a good neck scratch. Now I'm going to move to the other side. And this time I did the rope how it should have been done. And we're going to pick up the right hind. He's a little stickier on that leg, which they always tend to have one side versus the other. That's easier for them. But overall, I was really pleased with him, and we had a really nice day.